is 6 p.m., January 10th. This is the called meeting for the Social Circle Planning Commission and Corridor Commission. There are 4 of us up here. We do have a quorum. There are 3 members absent. For the record, Mr. Gaither, if you'll state your name for the record so we can prove a quorum.
Adolphus Gaither.
Scott Gaither.
Valerie Walhart.
And Glenda Jackson Brown.
Okay, thank you. So on our agenda, we have noted here minutes, but I did not note any minutes in the application. This is, like I said, the called meeting. This is not our regular meeting. So, Ms. Barbara Ashley, minutes from last meeting available?
They're not. We're going to do those at the regular meeting in January.
Thank you so much. So on the agenda, it's posted as a public hearing for variance 2022-9 for location at 586 North Cherokee Road, request a reduction of the front building setback line to 50 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, we had this public hearing back in November, if you recall, at our called meeting in November. This was an item that we tabled. The mayor and council tabled it, and the reason why we tabled it is to get a better understanding of where the property line is on this parcel of property in relation to the right-of-way line, and allow the applicant to submit that information to the city. The mayor and council at their meeting in December, they did hear this, and they tabled it as well so that this item can come back before us. If this item did not come back before us within the time period allowed, I think it's 45 days, it would have automatically been a recommendation to council to approve the request. So here we are tonight. Again, the public hearing has been held. There will not be a public hearing because we did hold that. But the information has been updated. The applicant has submitted it. The staff has finished their staff report based upon the information submitted by the applicant. And I'm going to ask, I guess, Ashley, will you provide the staff report, please?
Good evening, guys. For those of you that I haven't met yet, I'm Ashley Davis. I took over as the Community Development Director, and you guys will be seeing a lot more of me. So the updated staff report goes over a review of the plan, but first we'll go over a little bit of history about the property. The property had 5 residences on it that was demolished by the city back in 2006. The applicant came before the mayor and council in June of 2007 in a mixed-use development with retail on the bottom floor and condominiums on the upper levels were approved with the following conditions. The retail space could not exceed 5,000 square feet. There had to be an acceleration and deceleration lane on Annie P. Henderson. Development plan was to be shown to be the planning and zoning and mayor and council as part of the plan review by Walton County. There was a limit to 800 square feet for 1-bedroom condominiums and 1,100 square feet for 2-bedroom. And the condos were supposed to be fee simple use for residential above the commercial.
I have a question.
Okay.
When you say the space was limited, is that minimum space?
These conditions were pulled directly from the minutes. So what you're seeing is what we have. I wasn't there, so I can't speak to what exactly was said, but
I think that's probably
That was the old.
yeah, these are all old conditions, but this is exactly from the minutes. Yeah, that is word for word copy and paste, so that's all I have. And then, as Chairman Gaither said, the conditional use for condominiums over restaurant, the restaurant was the conditional use, and the retail space was approved at the December 20th meeting of mayor and council, and the 2 variances, the request for an increase of the allowable dwelling units from 15 to 21 living units was denied, and the variance for a request of the reduction of the required buffer from 75 feet to 60 feet was also denied. And this is a request for the reduction of the front building setback to 50 feet. The proposed reduction will allow the applicant to build 80 feet from the center line of North Cherokee Road. The sketch plan shows golf cart parking in the front of the property facing North Cherokee Road, parking for the commercial properties in the front of the property. I know it's technically the side, but the way we look at it, it's also the front because it has road frontage. And the rear of the property and the parking for the condominiums in the rear of the property. The zoning designation of OI does allow for a setback of 50 feet from the right-of-way of the road. The corridor standards state in section 706B2B1, under commercial zone properties, properties greater than 3 acres should reserve 2 or more out parcels for future development to insert buildings closer to the roadway. This is the only thing that I could find in the code about commercially zoned properties in the highway corridor overlay in relation to setbacks on developments over 3 acres. Now, this property is 3.17 acres plus or minus. So I also included what the code says about developments that are under 3 acres just for you guys. It's a 75-foot setback. And I have a little illustration for you guys here taken off of Q Public. This is a rough estimate of what those setbacks would look like. So this line here shows 130.1 feet, and that would end here, kind of even with this tree. I don't know if you guys can see it very well. This would be the 50-foot setback line. So it would be 80 feet from the center line of the road. Across the street, this is approximately 77.5 feet from the center line of the road. And this house is approximately 53.45 feet from the center line of the road. So we do have houses in the area that are closer than the 50 feet. Granted, those also have different setbacks within those zonings. But it would be consistent with the setbacks of the area. And staff recommends approval of the variance request to reduce the front building setback located off of North Cherokee Road to 50 feet with the following conditions. 1, no parking shall be located within the 50-foot front building setback from the right-of-way of North Cherokee Road. 2, a new plat of this property must be recorded within 90 days of receiving an action notice in relation to this application to include a 10-foot no access easement along North Cherokee Road. 3, the developer of the property shall abandon the existing terracotta sewer pipe located on the property and replace it with one that meets the current standards. 4, the developer of the property must install 6-foot wide sidewalks with ADA ramps along North Cherokee Road.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Does any of the planning commission members have any question for Ms. Davis regarding the history and background of the project or the property itself and the request and staff report? Looking at the staff report and the staff recommendations, just for clarification, should the planning commission follow the staff recommendation, which I think is probably in the best interest, and also if mayor and council follow staff recommendation, that would eliminate the golf cart parking that we saw that's shown on the conceptual sketch plan that's located in between the building and the street. And then the 10-foot non-access easement across North Cherokee would eliminate the driveway access on North Cherokee, which would do a couple things. Number one, you would eliminate any conflict of queuing of traffic traveling northbound on Cherokee with vehicles trying to get in or out. It would eliminate what appears to be a pretty tight radius on the turn coming into the property. So the primary entry would be off your side street, which is, if you're looking at it from a transportation aspect, that is desirable, so you're not clogging up your arterial. You're leaving that for your traffic to flow. So those are a couple things that wanted to point out that would differentiate from what we've discussed or talked about in the past. Ms. Davis, have you had that conversation with the applicant about those two potential conditions?
I have not had that conversation with the applicant.
Okay. At this time, Ms. Sorrow, we're not having the public hearing, but as the applicant and property owner and developer,
Yeah, this is the first I've heard of that. but
Yep.
If they could clarify number 4, install 6-foot wide sidewalks along North Cherokee, only the property lines. of what I own, correct?
Right, you'd only,
That could be clarified,
Yep.
because it can be read different
Yep.
ways with different people.
so you're not gonna put it along the entire stretch of North Cherokee? Just kidding.
No.
No, it'd only apply to, yes, ma'am, thank
If
you.
something happens to you, Scott,
Yeah.
somebody may interpret it differently.
No, it would only apply
Yeah.
to your width of your property
To be
frontage.
specific, and I'll have to see, yeah, what's consistent with the development, as Eric said. And then, number,
You can come up, Ms. Sorrow, if you want.
it's fine, I'm okay. Let's see, the no part, yeah, this is the first I've seen that, but just keep in mind that with not having that entrance along North Cherokee, we'll just, come on the side and, when you see the final approval plat plan, it may change a little bit on that front building, but that's understood. That
Yep.
has to go through the department anyway,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of potential flexibility for how that site is laid out to maximize your use and ability for it.
Right, just so based on these conditions that all parties understand that, when he submits it, it may look different from what you saw in his drawing.
Yeah, it'll look different than that.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So, Ms. Davis, just, can we make a note to update number 4 to state the sidewalks are for the property owners,
Yes.
contiguous property along North Cherokee, from property line to property line?
Noted.
Okay, thank you. Do the planning commission members have any questions, concerns, comments that they would like to add? Ms. Davis, is the 6-foot wide sidewalk, is that consistent with what we have in downtown moving forward?
Yes, the conditions 3 and 4 came after I spoke with our public works director, just to clarify, and the 6-foot wide is what she says that usually GDOT is or DOT recommends and wants.
Can I clarify that?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 foot is the standard that they're trying to go towards.
Okay.
There are pieces on North Cherokee that is more narrow, just because of
They're older.
older placed and private property, things like that, but 6 foot is the standard what we're going for. And actually what you see in front of City Hall is 6 foot.
Yes, that's what I thought. I thought that's what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
And eventually connect it all going north and
Yeah,
spoke out.
there are a few places where you just can't do it, particularly like on, south of the bridge, on some of the plans there.
Okay, thank you. That's the only question I had about that.
So, just a real quick question, based on the stipulations that you put. It says that there cannot be a 10-foot, let's see, of no access easement along that. Can the 6-foot